Good morning, class 9W. Now, I know I only see you a couple of times out of every 2 weeks. So we're going to be getting a lot accomplished and we're going to be moving on ahead. So what you have assigned as homework so far is this. By last Friday, I should have seen all worksheets that had to do with product. That is everything up to and including the worksheet on the Boston Matrix. So that should have been submitted last Friday. By this coming Friday, I sent you a link to a video that I did on the second of the 4Ps, which is place, and all worksheets to do with place, the place of doing business, and those are worksheets 21 and 22, need to be to me by this Friday. By a week from Friday, that's Friday, May the 8th, which will hopefully be our last Friday doing homeschool, but we'll see what the government says. So on the 8th, I'm looking for the last two of the 4Ps, all worksheets to do with price, which I'm going to go over today, and promotion, which I will go over with you in my video tomorrow. So price and promotion. And those are worksheets 23, 24, 25, and 26. And they are due Friday of next week. So we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves just so that I am able to talk with you about everything I need to talk with you about in the short amount of time we spend together. So let's take a look today at the subject of price. So if a product is sold for too much, not enough people will want to buy it, and it may not make it to market. If a product is sold for too little, the company may not make enough profit to be able to make more items and sustain a business. So price is a critically important part of the 4Ps, just as important as the product itself and the place from which or to which it is sold. So today we're going to be looking at supply, demand, and equilibrium price. What does that all mean? We're going to be looking at various pricing strategies: cost plus pricing, price skimming, penetration pricing, psychological pricing, loss leaders, competitive pricing, and promotional pricing. And you'll find lots of useful information if you follow along with me in iAchieve. And where I am in iAchieve is this. I'm at Unit 1, Session 2, and I'm at page 10 if you would like to follow along. So the price of a product or service is something that most customers will take into consideration when making a decision to buy. Because customers are so interested in the price of products and services, it's really important that they're priced right. If too much is charged, then customers may decide not to buy. But if a business doesn't charge enough, then the business will struggle to make a profit. So there are many different circumstances and situations that can have an impact on the pricing decisions that a business makes. For example, a new business that's trying to compete with many existing businesses might need to charge a reduced price in order to persuade customers to buy their product or services. All businesses will need to think about what it costs to make the product or provide the service, and also what the profit that it is hoping to achieve, what that target is in putting their price together. The price the business charges needs to be enough to cover its costs if it is going to make any profit at all. So there are lots of different pricing methods and strategies that a business can choose to use. And over time, a business may find itself in different situations as the business is established, as it grows, as it faces challenges from competitors, etc. And in changing circumstances, a business can choose to change its pricing methods accordingly. So we're going to look at some commonly used pricing strategies here as we work through these. The first is competitive pricing. What a business is doing here is it's researched its competition and it's found a price that is competitive with its competition. It's either matching its competition's price or it's undercutting the competition slightly. The advantage of this pricing strategy is that the organization can gain a competitive advantage over other businesses. However, the disadvantage is that the business will make lower levels of profit during the time that competitive pricing is used. Second pricing strategy is cost plus pricing. So one of the most important things that a business must consider when deciding on price is how much does it cost to deliver this product or service? So the key question is this: what is the cost? And then the goal is to charge more than the cost to ensure that the cost to reproduce the product is covered at all times. So using this pricing method, a business will begin by looking at the costs associated with the product or service and then add the amount of profit, hence the name cost plus. And then this determines the price that the business will charge its customers. An advantage of this pricing strategy is that the business will definitely make profit on each product it sells. However, there is no guarantee that the product will sell to customers at that price. So that's cost plus. The third one is penetration pricing. When a new business is starting up, it may need a pricing method to persuade customers to try its product or service, particularly if it's a brand new type of product or service that people may not know yet that they need. So it is hoped that customers like the product or service enough to keep buying it, even when the price increases. So the penetration pricing methods involves a business reducing its price in order to attract customers away from the competition and penetrate or break into the new market. However, these special offer prices can only be offered for a limited time. Eventually, the business will need to increase its prices to ensure that a profit is made. This pricing method can also be used by an established business that is launching a new product or service. So that is penetration pricing. The fourth one is price skimming. This one has been made incredibly famous by Apple. So this is the tendency of a company to charge a very high price when a brand new product or service is introduced. Customers are keen to have the latest and best product as soon as it is available, and those customers are the ones that will buy, heavily subsidizing the cost to produce and manufacture the product by Apple in this case, as the example is given. A business cannot use this skimming method for long. After the initial launch, a product can quickly become less popular and customers are less willing to pay a high price for it. Or it's got through all of the customers that were willing to pay a high price and now needs to appeal to the next band of customers whose pricing is more competitive. The business will then reduce the price in an attempt to encourage more sales. So the main advantage of this pricing strategy is that it allows an organization to make large profits while competitors are working to enter the market with a competitive product. However, this advantage will only last Well, there aren't other companies competing for the customers. As soon as there are, they will begin to lose out to those customers if it is still following this particular example. Next is promotional pricing. This is a special price reduction that is designed to promote a particular product at introduction. It may also be used to get rid of old products to make room for new stock, particularly in fashion. You will see a lot of fashion items that are out of fashion go to promotional pricing to help move them. Next one is psychological pricing. You'll see this pricing method being used every day. A lot of convenience shops use it. The idea is to charge 1 penny less than the next whole number. So £9.99, for example, seems a lot cheaper than £10. And the idea is to psychologically convince the customer that the amount they're paying is less than the next large amount. And loss leader pricing. Now, this pricing is used, for example, I see it used most readily by Lidl. Lidl, as you probably know, sells the most incredible croissants. They are baked fresh in the store, and they go for 3 croissants for £1, which I've never seen anywhere. So I suspect that they are losing money, hence loss leader. I suspect they are losing money on those croissants. However, they continue to produce them at a loss because they are baked at the back of the store, and they encourage customers to walk all the way to the back of the store to buy those croissants. Those customers pass the fruit and veg. They pass the cheese and milk and yogurt. They pass the fresh meats. All of those things are passed as they get customers to go to the back of the shops to buy their croissants. So yes, they make a loss on the croissants, but they make a gain on everything else. So moving on now to page 11, for those of you who are following along, let's look at the impact of price on supply and demand. So a key factor when it comes to deciding on price is supply and demand. If demand for a product is high and supply is low, then an organization can charge a high price knowing that customers will pay it to secure the product. However, if an organization has lots of product in stock, but there is low demand from customers, then the organization may need to consider reducing the price in order to encourage customers to buy it. When the level of supply meets the level of demand, this is known as equilibrium, a state of equality and balance. So take a look at the following example. So here in the example, we have a music concert venue. It has a capacity of 2,000 seats. So it's obviously an event that's going on in the future because those aren't allowed right now, and has estimated the level of demand at different ticket prices. So at £15, it estimates that 1,500 tickets would be demanded, but 2,000 are supplied. At £12, 2,000 are needed and 2,000 are supplied. And at £10, 2,500 are needed, but only 2,000 are supplied. So the equilibrium price is, in this example, is £12. This is where quantity demanded and quantity supplied are the same, 2,000 tickets. So equilibrium price can be determined by plotting the relationship between supply and demand on a diagram, like the one shown below. So here you see as the price increases, the demand decreases. And here you see what happens with the supply as the price increases and the quantity on the supply curve increases here. So right here is the point at which these two lines, the demand and the supply curve, intersect, and this is the equilibrium price. This is the equilibrium price. So going right back again. So let's take a look at working this information into the worksheets that are due. So the worksheets that are due for this session are worksheets 23 and 24, and they are due by Friday of next week. Friday of next week, May the 8th. So by all means, if you have some time now, get them done now so that they're out of the way, and get them emailed into me, and I will give you a mark for them. So worksheet 23 starts off with define supply, and you've seen some definitions for supply that we've just covered. Define demand, again using the definitions we've just covered, and then define equilibrium price, that point at which supply equals demand. Those two curves intersect. That is the equilibrium price, the price at which the supply for a product and the demand for a product equalize. So hopefully that's given you plenty to fill out there. Let me show you a little trick that can be used when you're asked to draw a graph and maybe you're not that gifted an artist, which would fit me to a T. So what am I going to do in order to remember this and demonstrate that I understand it? Well, I'm going to go back to this picture right here. Now, you will have a copy and paste tool most likely on your equipment. You may have a print screen that you can then load into a program that allows you to paste it. I have something called Snip, and this is the same. It's called a Snip tool, and it's the same that you have on your computers at school. So I think it's worth me showing you how it works. So it works by using the Windows key, Shift S. And when I do that, my screen goes a little bit dark, and I'm going to use a square kind of snip. So then I'm just going to put onto my picture what I want to snip. And then once I've taken it off, that is what goes onto my clipboard. I then go to the document that I want to place it in, and I just hit Control V, and I paste it right there. And if I want to reduce the size so that it doesn't take up a whole additional section, I can do that. So I can play with the size to get it as big as I need it. And there is my wonderful sketch. Quite easy to do. I'm fine with you doing the same thing, as I certainly would do it that way. So moving on to page 2, we have question 2 is a case study on worksheet 23. And it's a sweet factory, and they produced a new product called the Chomp Bar. Now, I remember a Chomp Bar that was a chew. This one is not. It's a delicious mix of chocolate, nuts, raisins, and caramel, so it's a bit chewy. The cost of this product before profit is 50p. It's your job to decide the correct pricing strategy for the Chomp Bar. Similar bars sell for 60p. So you can choose one of the pricing strategies below. Cost plus pricing. This is using a markup, so you know that your cost is 50p. So how would you apply cost plus pricing to come up with a winning price for this bar? And there are some examples there. Would you use price skimming? Would you charge a super high price, maybe £1, to introduce this fabulous new bar, bigging it up, making it sound like it's something that your customers really want to pay extra for? Or would you use penetration pricing? Would you charge a super low price, maybe 1 for which you're not making any money, would you charge a super low price just to get the product to market? So you're choosing which one of these three, and there's no right or wrong answer. It's just whatever you think is the best of the strategies, and put your answer in there. And then, if you were the head of finance for Chomp Bar, list the advantages and disadvantages of each pricing strategy so you can present this information to your boss. So, what are the advantages and disadvantages of cost plus pricing, advantages and disadvantages of price skimming, and advantages and disadvantages of penetration pricing? And then design a wrapper featuring the price on question 3. So those with art skills, or those who know about computer graphics programs, please let your mind run wild on designing a great wrapper for your Chomp Bar in question 3. So that is it for worksheet 23. That's all I need. Worksheet 24 really continues on, and it starts off again with another case study regarding the Chomp Bar. And it describes again what the Chomp Bar is: a delicious mix of chocolate, nuts, raisins, and caramel. And the cost of this product before profit is 50p. It's your job to decide the correct pricing strategy for the Chomp Bar, and similar bars sell for 60p. So read the descriptions of the pricing strategies below, and you have to choose now from one of the other 4 pricing strategies. So psychological pricing, this is where the price is designed to make you think that it costs less than it actually does. Loss leaders, this would be that you're going to practically give away this product to get more attention to the other products, the other chocolate bars that you offer. How would you do that? How would you build that into a pricing strategy? Competitive pricing, this is where you try to undercut the competition a little bit. So maybe if their prices are 60p, what price would you pick to slightly undercut that price and make it sound like yours is cheaper? And promotional pricing. Promotional pricing is where you offer a limited time reduced price to this bar, maybe even selling it under cost to get people to try it, knowing that they will be back. So the question is, which of these 4 pricing strategies would be the best pricing strategy for the Chomp Bar, and why? And then you're doing very similar thing to what you did on session 20, worksheet 23. You are summarizing the advantages and disadvantages now of all of the pricing strategies as they impact Chomp Bar. And that is it. That's all the work on pricing that I need for your submission of your worksheets, these 2 worksheets on May 8th. Next class, tomorrow, I will go into the 4th of the 4 Ps, promotion, and the last 2 worksheets, 25 and 26, that are also due from you on the 8th of May. Friday, the 8th of May, again, which will hopefully be, with any good fortune, our last day of having to do homeschool. So I hope you've enjoyed this recording, and that everything makes sense to you in terms of what is expected and when. And I look forward to seeing your submissions and turning around some marks to you. Thanks so much. Stay safe, obviously, stay home, stay away from others, follow social distancing guidelines, and I look forward to seeing you back safe and healthy in school, hopefully at some point in May. Take care now.